5 minutes with Sean, maybe 10. February begins, my friends, already. It's going to go fast. I'm telling you, before you know it, it's going to be the middle of summer. And obviously, I think we're all looking forward to that here. Although winter has been a bit mild where I live, but still cold enough. Anyways, here's the thing. Today's show is really motivated by Kaylee Filho. She had a great post at NADA. She had a conversation with someone, and it goes something like this individual, whomever they are, said, "My marketing team doesn't do shit for me." And it got me really thinking about an overarching piece first, which is the idea of the people's perception is their reality, right? So just think about that. And you can context that into politics, religion, your life, work. It's something that's very much helped me understand people better and have slightly more tolerance, not a lot, but slightly more tolerance about them and about the situation, because that is what they believe. It is what they see to be true. And so if I use that as sort of my barometer, and when I look at this conversation, I laugh. And in the post, I think I said something like, "This is classic bitching without action," and it's like the worst thing in the world. I have absolutely zero fucking time for anyone who wants to come on and bitch without A, really knowing what's going on in the beginning, and B, and more importantly, having a solution to the bitching, right? So let's take a step back and let's look at how often marketing directors probably hear this in auto tech, in regular auto or non-auto life. Marketers probably hear all the time from the sales part of the organization that they don't do shit, they're a waste of money, they spend this, they spend that. I've been hearing it my whole life. I've been hearing it via marketing directors my whole life in automotive. So it's not a surprising thing to hear. However, the question I ask is, what were the expectations of the marketing department? Were those expectations clearly communicated to the marketing department? And were those expectations inspected in a given time frame post the beginning of whatever campaign, whatever marketing was working on? Three very basic principles, all around expectations. Most people, and this individual that Kaylee was talking to, had no rhyme or reason as to why they felt that way, because they didn't know the first fucking thing, what they did in the first place, which is typical of middle management, especially in corporations that maybe think they're bigger than they are and have too many layers of middle management, which God, auto tech is like the worst at. There's so many useless people walking around with VP badges who can't do a fucking thing. So if we subtract that out and we say, oh, typical sales organization individual talking about a marketing department. Now, I don't know this person's position, so I'm just hoping they were some sales org VP and not like a CEO or someone who talk like that about people that they're trying to blend and move into their organization. But the poor treatment of marketers is it's low-hanging fruit. It's easy. It's easy to say that marketing didn't make it happen. Marketing doesn't work. It's easy to say. It's asinine to say. Okay? I'll tell you this, in my career, which is spanning almost 25 fucking years in this industry, more now, I can tell you this. 7 times out of 10, when you think your marketing team sucks, it's your sales organization that sucks. Think about that. That's my experience. That's real world shit. Whether that's in a dealership or in an auto tech company, every time I hear about marketing sucking, I ask the follow-up question. What have you done with the opportunities that have been presented to you? How often do you close those opportunities? What does your show rate look like? You see, because nobody wants to admit fault, but mom taught me a lesson a long time ago that when we point one, right, these 3 and maybe this 4th that's tucked are pointing back at us. And that's where the real, life inspection begins at a business level. Because nobody wants to hear that they suck at something, especially when they believe it is another part of the organization that sucks that leads to their sucking. It's typically not the case. Now, are there bad marketing departments? Fuck yeah, I've run into those. Come on, I'm not sitting here acting like marketing is absolved of any issue here. However, leadership in those areas, directives, expectations, inspection, well, that can get a little light. And that's, frankly, I mean, that's part of what ended up happening with us as an organization. We went to our first show. We were a pariah because people thought we were trying to take their jobs. All we were trying to do was help support them. But our pitch came off like that. I get that. I do retrospective. I think I even maybe have said it in the moment. I get it. It's not true. So take a second, talk to people, learn from people, and you'll find out that's not what they're trying to do. But I see how it came across that way because, honestly, from a marketing perspective, I would rather marketers deal with messaging than deal with data, which is why we help deal with the data. Because I think those are two separate skill sets. Now, as someone who grew up in the car business, you had to become the jack of all trades, right? Master of none, as they say. But you learned and understood marketing from a perspective of what drove traffic, what drove leads. It was evident. It was real world, not from a book marketing. This was what you could see impacted bottom lines. And because I grew up with basically the advent of the internet in the car business, 1998 and beyond, watching the evolution of ad tech, watching the evolution of opportunities, watching the evolution of a marketing department, a BDC, all these things, the very two basic principles exist. Letting people know you're there. When they show up, treating them like you paid to get them there. And because we've had the last 2, 3, 4 years in auto to get, fat catting, reality's back, man. New car sales were a high since 2019. Didn't feel that way because it was so kind of siloed, certain brands, certain this, certain that, but didn't feel that way for everybody. But more new cars on the road. Okay, that's great. I'm seeing leases come back, right? So now we're starting to see over when marketing from tier 1 to 2 to 3, 2 sucks. From 1 to 3, when that marketing dials, right? That's where the magic happens. However, recently we've launched a product that gets us in the sales arena of training and listening to phone calls, and our new product CRM Done Better. And so with that, I want to puke listening to phone calls. I want to puke. Because I sit in meetings every month where this particular client that we're working with, the owner, dealer principal, he's not like satisfied with what's going on in the number of leads and marketing. But we had a private conversation offline where I said, look, man, it comes down to a selling problem or a lead problem, which you got. And then he had me inspect the process of the actual selling problem. And guess what? Disaster strikes. 3 phone calls is all I could stomach. That's all. I could not listen to any more. 3 phone calls. In these 3 phone calls, everything you do as a marketer, every fucking idea you have to drive traffic, to get people to your door of the dealership, you did. Everything. You did it right. And then it comes there and it's completely fumble fucked. And now people want to say, but what about marketing? I don't have the leads. Bullshit. You have the leads. You know what? You're terrible at dealing with them. And you don't know it because you don't look and you don't spend the time to inspect it. So before you go out and criticize people who actually did the job, look at yourself first. Look at your process. Have it investigated by a third party, be it me or anybody else in the world who does this stuff. Because I'm really, really, really getting tired of hearing about how it's a marketing department problem. As I said, 7 out of 10 times, 70% of the time, it's a selling problem. Salespeople, managers suck. How about that? Why? Because over the last 4 years, if you got in the car business in 21, you don't know shit about the car business. You don't know anything about dealing with marketing, dealing with leads, because it was take it or leave it. Guess what? We don't live there anymore. Time to move on. Time to update your profile, as the business partner says. And that, my friends, is where the true work happens. So I will leave you with that. Obviously, I got a little bit fired up on the topic because, well, it frustrates me. And so to hear it and to see it in that setting and to be talking the word, I think the part I overreached here on or didn't talk about was the fact that Kaylee herself is a marketing director for an organization. So someone said that directly to her, obviously either void of knowing what she did or being a dick. Either way, unacceptable. Know your audience. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you next week. I want to talk about clear calls to action in marketing. Isn't that shocking? We'll see you next week. Thanks a lot.